fight? What do you
I think it's
rematch?
dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
We did how many rounds? We probably did at least 8 straight.
Yeah, but you in the bag for about 8 too.
Yeah.
Little good. You're not in bad shape.
Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach are a done deal for August 18th, with the two facing off yet again. But this time, Tank has made it clear that he's coming for the win. The stakes for this rematch couldn't be higher. And it's not just about pride or belts. What's really getting the boxing world talking, though, is the way Davis has been acting since their first encounter on March 1st. That fight ended in a majority draw, a result that shook Tank's aura of invincibility.
Was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say.
It was supposed to be another routine demolition, another name to add to his list of bodies. But Roach refused to play the role. Instead, he matched Tank's intensity, absorbed his power, and exposed the gaps in his game that had been hidden by a string of one-sided knockouts. This isn't just speculation. Richardson Hitchens, a close friend and training partner of Davis, recently gave a blunt assessment of Tank's mindset heading into the rematch. I tell Tank that behind closed doors, if he doesn't focus up, it can go left for him. Hitchens said,
on his A game, it could go left for him.
I mean, yeah, I'll tell Tank that, you know, behind closed doors, if he don't focus up, it can go left for him. But Tank is a true competitor. Tank is a guy that he's scared to lose. So I think
that's a rare admission from someone inside the Davis camp. A clear signal that the confidence Tank projects to the public might not match the reality behind closed doors. Hitchens also pointed out that Davis has been cutting back on distractions, staying off the internet, and putting in the work in the gym. That's the kind of behavior you expect from a fighter who knows.
He's trying to please the fans possibly and take this fight versus Lamont Roach in a rematch. You know, is it even worth it to please the fans who are going to love you one minute, hate you the next? They're going to love him this minute, they're going to hate him next minute. Oh, I don't like it. He can fight Lamont Roach, and they're going to say, well, he's supposed to knock Lamont out if he does win, you know? Or if he loses to Lamont, they're going to say, oh, we knew Lamont was better. It's just always is a never-ending story in regards to boxing. You can't.
But is that enough? Hitchens himself seems to have his doubts. I think, honestly, them guys are both evenly matched. They have history with each other. They know each other, he said. So, I don't think that it's going to be that much of a difference in the rematch. But with Tank's power, anything can happen. That's a shaky endorsement, and it raises a critical...
We're saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, like, even the day before, I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night. And I just feel like, hopefully, this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
If that wasn't enough to rattle Davis, Eddie Hearn's recent comments should do the trick. The Matchroom boxing chief suggested that Davis might be looking for an exit strategy from the Roach rematch altogether. In a recent interview, Hearn dropped a bombshell, claiming that Davis could be fighting social media star Jake Paul in November instead of focusing on settling the score with Roach.
Me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
How real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
I don't know whether he'll still fight Lamont Roach in a rematch. I know he's fighting Jake Paul in November, and then maybe Shakur Stevenson after that. For a fighter like Davis, this kind of talk is dangerous. It's one thing to chase a big payday, but it's another to openly flirt with the kind of circus act that fighting Jake Paul represents. It suggests a lack of focus, a drift away from the pure competition that has defined his career.
The hardest punch I ever faced? No.
And I ain't shitting on him or nothing like that. He can punch. But Jonathan Okendo, he's from Puerto Rico. Bro, he got bricks in his hands, bro. I lie to you not. He punch hard. I ain't gonna lie. He hard.
Roach, for his part, has remained relatively quiet, letting the chaos swirl around his opponent. It's a smart move, a calculated approach that hints at a fighter who understands the mental game as well as the physical. He's already proven that he can hang with Tank, that he can take the best shots Davis has to offer and keep coming forward. That kind of toughness can break a fighter mentally. And if Davis is already second-guessing himself, Roach is in
that fight. A lot of people are saying maybe he's just mentally not there. What did you see?
Nah, he was the same Tank. I don't believe that. I don't got no thought in my brain that makes me think that he wasn't the person he been in all of these other fights. I think he was the same person. All this stuff that he going through stuff, I mean, everybody go through stuff, so he's the same fighter. He's going to be the same fighter throughout his career. So.
Even Ryan Garcia, a former Tank victim, has weighed in, cautiously backing Davis to pull off the win in the rematch. "I got Tank," Garcia told Ez. "I think he'll put on a different gear. I think he just thought it would be easier than it was and thought Roach would fold, and he didn't. Now we should expect a harder fight, and I think he wins the rematch."
1 foot out, you're going to get in the ring, and you're going to have that moment where you know you got to step it up, and it just won't come. But I think that's...
Garcia essentially admitted that Tank underestimated Roach the first time around, a mistake that nearly cost him his perfect record. And let's not forget, Garcia is coming off his own setback. A knockout loss to Rolando Romero, another Davis victim. It's not exactly a ringing endorsement when your supporter is a guy who's still recovering from his own brutal loss. Then there's Rolando Romero himself, who was knocked out by Davis in the 6th round of their bout, but still picked Tank to win the rematch.
It was something funny. When we was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking right? But he like, "You ain't gonna win." I said, "Why not?" "What you talking about?" He like, "They ain't gonna give it to you." I said, "Oh, is that right?" So, that's how boxing works.
That's a common refrain among Tank supporters, the idea that he can make the adjustments necessary to avoid another close call. But that assumes that his issues are purely tactical, that a few tweaks in training camp will fix everything. It ignores the mental side of the game, the creeping doubt that can set in when a fighter realizes that he's not as untouchable as he once thought. For Davis, this rematch is about more than just revenge. It's about proving that he's still the most dangerous man in the lightweight division, that his power and aggression are enough to overcome even the toughest challenges. But if his own corner is already hinting that he's scared of losing...
It was something funny. When we was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking right? But he like, "You ain't gonna win." I said, "Why not?" "What you talking about?" He like, "They ain't gonna give it to you." I said, "Oh, is that right?" So, that's how boxing works. It's sad to say, that's how boxing works. I'm not like totally upset. I figured.
But the truth is, Lamont Roach has a real shot at shocking the world again in this rematch, and some of the sport's biggest names are already betting on it. The reigning WBC World Lightweight Champion didn't hesitate when asked who he's backing for this second showdown. "I like Lamont in the rematch," he told KO Artist Sports. That's not just a casual take. Sparring is where fighters reveal their true selves, and those sessions can expose vulnerabilities that never show.
I had something on the table. So people who think I'm taking this fight for money, it wasn't the thing. Because I actually had an offer that was higher than the Tank fight.
Oh, for real?
Yes. To defend my belt. So, for all the people who think I was, he doing it for a check. That's what I'm saying. I just even wanted to shut people up.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
doing it for a check. We ain't doing it just for the check.
We ain't doing it just for the check. But trust me, because don't forget, this is business.
It's prize fighting. Yeah.
It's prize fighting for a reason.
Absolutely.
But it's not just current champions backing Roach. Roy Jones Jr., one of the most cerebral fighters to ever lace up gloves, also sees potential for an upset. "I think he shocks the world again," Jones told pro boxing fans. Jones is a man who understands adjustments better than almost anyone in the sport, a former champion in 4 weight classes who reinvented his style multiple times over his career. When he says Roach has a chance, it's worth listening. Still, even Jones hedged his bets, adding, "But the only thing different this time is Tank will come with a different attitude, a different personality, different motivation." That's a loaded statement, hinting that Davis's biggest enemy might be his own mind.
He's not there to play around. He's trying to smoke you. That's what life's supposed to be about. Roach is not just your average everyday opponent. Roach is a person who knows Tank, who's been around Tank his whole life. This is a different fight. You can't put Roach to the side like this. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to win the fight. I don't know that. But Roach cannot be this underrated like that. You understand? You got to understand that Roach came from basically the same ecosystem as Tank came from. Roach is a very formidable opponent. So I'm not going to talk about none of that till we get by Roach, because what I'm telling you about the others...
Jones isn't the only legend sounding alarms about Davis's mental game. 5-weight world champion Clarissa Shields, known for her brutal honesty, told Fight Hub TV she sees Tank's emotions as a potential weakness. "I think Lamont will be even better in the rematch," she said. "Right now, I think Roach wins the rematch only because I think Tank needs to get his fear out the way." Shields doubled down, pointing to Davis's recent distractions outside the ring. "Sometimes, anger helps you in a fight. You don't want to completely lose it. You have to know how to use it. He's so frustrated with other parts of his life that it's hard for him to use all of it inside the ring. So I think therapy..."
What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in the, I lost track in the rounds.
Even Keyshawn Davis, one of the sport's rising stars, is already eyeing the winner. "If he beats Tank, I would love to fight Lamont Roach next," Keyshawn told Fight Hype. "If he beats Tank, there's only one fight to make in the lightweight division, me versus Lamont." That's a direct call-out, the kind that can spark real animosity in a division already brimming with talent. But here's the thing. Keyshawn is talking as if a Roach victory is a real possibility, not just a long shot. That's a subtle but significant shift in perception. Not long ago...
If you go by my honest opinion, I feel like me and Lamont Roach, stylistically, is the hottest fight in the weight division.
Yeah.
Lamont Roach stood right there with Gervonta, the hardest puncher in the division, right? Ooh. So put him up against me, I'm not going nowhere.
Y'all really gonna box, man.
We're gonna fight. I feel like stylistically, that's one of the best matchups in the division for sure.
It's gonna be a lot of rolling in that fight.
You know, However, Keyshawn's challenge comes with its own set of complications. He's a big lightweight, the kind of fighter who rehydrates into a much heavier man overnight. That size advantage would make any potential fight with Roach a risky move. For the smaller, more compact WBA champion, Keyshawn even hinted at this, saying, "For real, if you beat Tank, let's fight. Tank, if you win, let's fight. I don't care." But here's the unspoken reality. Roach would have to walk into the ring against a guy who might balloon up to a junior middleweight overnight, turning what should be a skill contest into a physical mismatch. That's a risk that could derail Roach's...
Like, I just think Lamont was just better than what everybody was expecting him to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, Lamont can really fight. You know what I'm saying? And I've been saying that. But I also been saying that I thought Tank was gonna knock him out. You know what I'm saying? So he proved me wrong. That, like I said, he better than what we made him out to be. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think like Tank got exposed.
Lamont Roach has recently taken a commendable step, partnering with What's Up With Hate for a social media campaign promoting respect in the sport. In the campaign video, he stated, "Everyone knows that boxing is a brutal sport where competitiveness is key. But that doesn't mean we have to be enemies outside of the ring." It's a noble take. But let's be real. This is boxing, not a charity gala. Fans don't just tune in for technical skill or sportsmanship. They crave the bad blood.
I just so happen to be a boxing fan that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed
Right.
for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long we taking?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's gonna be soon. I'm hoping it's gonna be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July for sure.
Roach's approach, while admirable, risks watering down the very thing that keeps the sport alive: genuine rivalries. Sure, mutual respect sounds nice in theory, but it's not the fuel that sells tickets or drives pay-per-view buys. It's the grudges, the harsh words, and the personal stakes that elevate a bout from just another fight to an all-out war. Take the classic rivalries: Ali versus Frazier, Tyson versus Holyfield. Those weren't just battles of skill. They were wars of will, with each fighter genuinely believing the other stood in the way.
Like the betting me that he gonna knock me out and stuff like that. That didn't go too well for him.
Did y'all bet?
Oh, we bet and we shook on it.
He paid up?
He changed his number. Again, there's a high level of mutual respect for each other. Like I said, we done bumped into each other plenty of times. More than the average boxer would see another boxer outside of boxing. So it's cool. Like, he cool with me and I'm cool with him. If we were to see each other.
During an interview on the Cigar Talk podcast, Bill Haney, the father and head trainer of undisputed lightweight champion Devin Haney, sent a direct message to Roach. Lamont, get to work now. Don't do too much talking. Listen, have pops. Come sit down and talk because that's what we do. Devin going to work, and I'm going to talk. It's a sharp, deliberate dig, a public challenge to Roach's mindset and work ethic, essentially questioning whether Roach has the same grind and hunger as the younger Haney. It's a clear attempt to get under Roach's skin, to remind him that in the Haney camp, talk isn't just a sideshow, it's a weapon, and they wield it with precision. The truth is, if Roach wants to win the...
You don't have enough experience. You really should have waited and took your time before you came to me, and that's what Gervonta Davis told him. And he was right. He was absolutely positively right. And so now here we are, him fighting this cat Roach, and I'm like, isn't this dude a like junior lightweight?
Super featherweight, moving up to lightweight. Yeah.
No, there's no... See,
there's also the matter of Roach's own mindset. By aligning himself with a campaign to stop hate, he's essentially admitting that he's more concerned with his public image than stoking the kind of personal animosity that drives Blockbuster. Rematches. That's a risky move. In boxing, respect only goes so far. At a certain point, the fans want to see some bad blood. They want to believe that these two fighters genuinely can't stand each other. If Roach keeps this all-love approach, he risks coming off as the passive, less... Meanwhile, Davis's camp is doing its best to project confidence, but even they can't fully hide the cracks in the facade. The whispers about Davis's focus, his distractions outside the ring, and his psychological readiness for this rematch are growing louder. Shields' suggestion that Tank might need therapy is a direct hit to his pride, the kind of comment that can either light a fire under a fighter or completely destabilize them. And with figures like Roy Jones Jr. openly acknowledging that Roach has the potential to shock the world again, the press...
Just overall being something that he's not been in the ring with. I'm the total package, and honestly, sometimes I think he doubts himself. But I'm a competitor, and I feel like I'm the best. So I'm assured.
When he talks about you not bringing your family, what goes through your mind when you hear him say that?
As the date approaches, this rematch is shaping up to be more than just a fight for a title. It's a test of character, a battle for respect, and a chance for one man to redefine his career while the other fights to keep his throne. The stakes are high, and the lines are clearly drawn. For Davis, this is about reasserting his dominance and silencing the doubters.